Dr. Cordolino?
Here.
Mrs. Fano?
Here.
Mr. Palma?
Here.
Mr. Petrosino?
Here.
Mr. Rappaport?
Here.
Mrs. Smith?
Here.
Ms. Zuckerman? Here. Mr. Daughtry?
Here.
Dr. Modrak?
Here.
Ms. Ammer?
Here.
Mr. Blumenthal?
Here. Pledge allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, Ms. Ammer and Mr. Blumenthal.
Good evening.
Would you care to give us your reports?
Of course. So in the past for MTHS, homecoming was on Thursday, October 16th in the cafeteria. The night started at 7 p.m. and ended at 10 p.m. The theme for the dance was Under the Lanterns. At the homecoming, there were 2 photo booths, a DJ, and many opportunities to play games with classmates via boards set up in the rotunda. Underclassmen yearbook photos took place on October 9th and 10th. Senior photo retakes took place on October 15th and 16th. This past week was School Violence Awareness Week, which started Monday, October 21st, where high schools provided opportunities to discuss methods for keeping schools safe from violence, as well as promoting student discussion about bullying prevention and issues of student diversity and tolerance. In honor of School Violence Awareness Week, the International Concerns Club and Cultural Diversity Club led our school community by offering information and other types of activities geared towards these principles. On October 22nd, 9th to 11th graders took the PSAT in select classrooms from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. And the college fair took place on October 23rd in the MTHS cafeteria. Juniors and seniors got the chance to walk around and talk to college advisors from over 40 schools. Now for sports, girls tennis wrapped up their season with a win against Morristown on October 8th. Their overall record was 10-7. Field hockey is currently 10-7 with a game against Verona today at 4 p.m. Boys and girls soccer wrap up their conference season with a game against Pope John tomorrow at 4 p.m. This game is girls soccer senior night, ending their conference with a record of 10-6, and boys soccer being 13-5 and officially becoming a conference champions last week. Football is 5-3 with a state tournament game this Friday against West Milford. And Montville Volleyball had a game today against North Hunterdon at 4 p.m. Their current record is 1-20.
Now on to present and future summaries. Starting October 27th, all across the country, schools are observing Red Ribbon Week. The goal of this week is to inspire students to be drug-free. Ms. Lamarl and Ms. McCorkle, student assistant counselors, set up a table in the high school rotunda during the lunch this week. On Wednesday, October 29th, National Honor Society is having their fall induction ceremony in the auditorium from 6:30 to 9 p.m. The Montville Theater Company's production of Romeo and Juliet has their performances on Thursday, October 30th at 7 p.m. and November 1st at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. Tickets are being sold online or at the performance. Then, next week brings the end of the first marking period on November 4th. Following this, November 5th is a half day, and November 6th and 7th, schools will be closed for the NJEA convention. For underclassmen who missed the yearbook photos, school photo retakes will be on Tuesday, November 11th, where students will have their photos retaken in either their physical education or health class.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And you're going to go to the play, right?
Yes.
Now, wait, and the football game, is that here? No, it's too bad. Oh, well. Superintendent's report? Is there any questions for the?
Actually, we're going to start off with our guests first, and then I'll get into our report. But any questions for the board or anybody? I mean, for the students? All right.
Have a good night.
Dr. Raj, you want to introduce our guests and all these props that you have here?
I do.
It looks very fun and exciting.
Oh, you're in for a treat. You need a mic?
Yeah.
Okay, good evening. I'm Michael Raj. I'm the principal of Cedar Hill School, and we're here to present a very fun club that we run at Cedar Hill. This presentation is going to be 2 clubs in one. It's our Rocket Club and our AV Club. The AV Club, as you know, we received a grant from the MEF, all the elementary schools did, where they were kind enough to gift us some AV equipment, which we now take and we do a little Cedar Hill productions with that. We do a weekly news channel and also these little things, that special events that happen throughout the school day. We capture them and we set them up our own little YouTube channel internally, and the teachers get to watch it in the homerooms with the kids, with the class. It's fantastic. The reason why we don't have any students, contrary, we always have students here at our presentations in the past. However, the popularity of these two clubs range close to 120 student participation in there. In my school of just over 300, mid 300s, that's a third of my school. I couldn't really shove them all here, and then trying to play favorites of who I ask to come and who I don't ask. We figured just these two beautiful gentlemen here can do a great job for us. So, very smart. All right, so I'm going to turn over here. I have Mr. DeLassio, who's been with us in district many, many years. He worked over at William Mason. He worked over at Hilldale, and for the past 19, 20 years with us here at Cedar Hill School. Matthew Palladino, who started with us as a instructional aide, who actually started in district as a maintenance custodial staff, became an instructional aide, went back to school, got his physical education cert, and is now my phys ed teacher. So full circle for Matt, and I'm going to turn it over to you two gentlemen.
Good evening, everyone. So our Rocket Club ranges in grades 3 through 5, simply because of the dexterity they need to use to tie things together, put things together. So it's only grades 3 through 5, also because they're old enough to understand safety. And that's our main concern is safety, learning, but safety. Next slide. Oh, geez, that is small. I've been working 29 years in district, so the Rocket Club started at Hilldale School in 2000, so it's 25 years up and running. I started with Jason Jones over at Hilldale. When I moved over to William Mason in 2005, I also started the Rocket Club there as well, and I think it's still up and running. In 2008, when I arrived at Cedar Hill, we started up the Rocket Club as well. Mr. Palladino has been instrumental in keeping us up and running for the last 4 years because the numbers have exceeded 100 plus students. He's excellent with the computer and organization. Like Dr. Raj said, it's a third of our school population that participates in the Rocket Club. In all 3 schools, the club was met with great enthusiasm by students, parents, and staff. So even on launch day, the parents are invited. So when we get to the launch, you'll see what we're talking about.
So I'm Matt Palladino. Nice to meet everybody. Like a little project overview. Like Mr. Lassie was saying, grades 3 to 5 participate in a hands-on STEAM focused on experience focused on aerodynamics, engineering, and creativity. Each student builds and launches their own rocket. The only problem is we always can't guarantee they get back. Sometimes they float into the trees and we get them later on in the year. You could go to the next one. So these are some of our 5th graders building the rockets. We bring them in a lot of times for lunch, stay with them after school if they need to finish them up. But they're just, right now they're kind of putting the designs on and the beginning stages. So you can kind of see a final project. This is what they're working towards right now. Go to the next one, please.
Students follow the detailed instructions of their NASA engineers. That's Mr. Palladino and myself. Students started by assembling the base and attaching fins. Students then attached the parachute. The parachute is the biggest problem. The shock cord to their nose cone. Nose cones, parachute, shock cord are inserted into the body of the rocket. And then there's actually special wadding we put in so the parachutes don't melt. So every little detail that goes into these rockets is important. So it's kind of nice that the kids make that every little step matters. It looks like tissue. And we would never substitute that because if it was a tissue, it would burn up. You'd actually see it falling from the sky.
Believe it or not, yeah, that little piece of, it keeps the parachute and everything from burning up.
So the last stage of the rocket is like a back puff of really hot air that kind of is still so hot it would ignite paper. So that's why they have the special wadding in there. So that then the parachutes also don't melt. I think I got that. The igniters go into the bottom of the rocket. So this is what it looks like. I'll hand this. You can hand it around. Don't worry about messing it up. It has two wires attached to the bottom that gets attached to these long cables. So we even talk about this because of the way it works. We're sending 4 AA batteries in there. I'll connect this. You ready, Matt? Yeah. Go ahead. And once these are connected to the bottom of that rocket, when we're ready to launch, and you'll see a couple of rockets launch, the light goes red. So that's so they know they're ready to launch. When we are ready, yeah.
When we connect, the pin doesn't even go into we make sure the pin is out, because then there's no way that they can launch the rocket without that. So while we're helping them set it all up, we make sure that the pin's removed. Because you can press this all you want, it does nothing. So they have to press them both at the same time too, which is also a safety feature. And they're not the easiest to press down, so they got to give it a good press and hold it. So that's like almost like another safety feature built into it.
And once the red light is on, that means the instrument is hot and ready to launch.
So what then ends up happening is you hold both buttons at the same time, it heats up the wire, and on the end of the filament that's inside of that engine, it actually is like an igniter. That's what they actually call it, igniter. It ignites the rocket, and that's the first stage of the rocket is liftoff. So it goes through 3 stages: liftoff, back puff, and then parachute, and hopefully landing. So, but there's a long wire attached to it, so no one's next to it. I've been doing this 25 years. We've been good. I don't want to jinx it. So I'm just going to say everything has worked out very well. Next slide. And there's more of our children building. This is the grade 5, so it's much bigger than the grade 3. These are basic rockets. They also have 3 different types of engines. There's A, B, and C. We use the middle engine, B, because the A's are too short and the kids don't go, oh, they just kind of like, oh, that's nice. B's get the attention. C's, the neighborhood would not be happy with us, so we launch B engines.
We've used C's in the past, and the neighbors were not happy. There are times I'm sitting there at my desk after school, and then just before all the security protocols came in, they would just walk in the front door with a rocket in hand, throw it at my desk, and this is one of 4 that just landed in my yard. So, being very conscious of our neighbors and doing right by them. It is a true story.
So, like Mr. Rossi was saying, we use these lightweight model rocket kits, which keep them from kind of going farther than they need to be. This one I actually messed up trying to build, so I kind of brought it to show you guys. So they're made of cardboard, so you could see like the inside. So they're very light. So that way they don't like Dr. Raj was saying, they don't bother the neighbors. They go up and they come straight down and they float down nice and easy. All of our launches, we make sure we follow strict safety guidelines. We set up barriers. We keep the parents back. I can't say enough about the staff at Cedar Hill that volunteers their time to come and help us with it. It's not just me and him on the launch. We have anywhere from 5 to, I'd say, almost 10 teachers at a time, because they enjoy watching it too. But they really are instrumental to helping us with that. So I can't say enough about that.
During launch day, the parents come up next to their child and can videotape it. So we usually have 5 or 6 launch pads, depending on how many volunteers we have. We have 1 or 2 teachers on crowd control. Mr. Palladino and I are there helping with, because things do go wrong, the wires come off. Sometimes the igniters don't work. Sometimes the igniters don't work the right way, meaning they light, but they don't light. So we usually have to intercede and help out. So safety, 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 but it's a lot of fun, and the parents enjoy it too, and it's a memory that pretty much a lot of the kids that come back, a lot of the kids that came back at the end of last year, they were like, oh, you still doing Rocket Club? I'm like, yeah, we're still doing Rocket Club. So they remember it. That's actually launch day, the kids connecting wires. We help them connect the wires to the bottom of the rocket on the launch pad. If the wires come off or those little metal wires twist, it won't ignite the right way.
How long does it take to build a rocket?
3 days usually. So the kids come in during recess. Like today, I had a kid come in. He's like, oh, it's going to rain. I don't want to come in today. Could I come in during lunch tomorrow? I'm like, yeah, come in tomorrow during lunch. So we kind of work with their schedule. But like Mr. Palladino was saying, they launch after school. It's like an hour, hour and a half. So if some of the kids are in Medlick, we can help them out even after school in Medlick.
Do they build it after school, or do they build it during?
Kind of like a hybrid. Sometimes during the day, sometimes after school. It really depends on the kid's schedule, because a lot of kids are involved after school, so we try to accommodate them during their lunch.
So on launch day brings a lot of excitement and curiosity. Like Joe was saying, the students connect the igniters, they take control of their controllers, and they set their rockets off. Every rocket achieved liftoff. We make sure that happens, so no student, is upset that their rocket didn't go off. So even if we've had to stay a few times, try multiple engines, and eventually we get it to light for them. So we want to make sure everyone gets off. This is our third graders. Like, we take a group picture before they launch their rocket. So this is the third grade this year. The next one, this is the fourth grade. We haven't done the fifth grade yet. They were supposed to launch Thursday, but it's looking like a 100% chance of rain. So we decided early on that we're going to back it up a few weeks with the conference and stuff. We'll back it up a couple weeks, but they're going to get to launch in November. So this is going to be a rocket launching. 3, 2, 1.
You can go to the next one. Let me just show you examples. That's actually one of the third graders who got their rocket back. Doesn't want to play? Wow.
They can demonstrate for you.
I will say, after we launch, the rockets easily come out of the bottom. You want to hold this? The problem is, if they get the rocket back and they don't take it back, we get complaints because their house smells like rotten eggs. So we always tell the kids, don't go home with it in, otherwise your parents are going to complain because it smells. It's going to make the house move with rotten eggs.
Okay, so like Dr. Oz was saying, we couldn't pick like a couple kids and disappoint anybody, and obviously fitting 120 students in here would be a lot. So we have our AV club, who's ran by Ms. Accardi and Ms. Moran. They do a wonderful job with the students. So we sent a couple of their lead students out to grab us some interviews. The first 5 seconds of every video, the volume's kind of low and then it picks up. So you'll kind of see it. It's just the way that they record it, but they did such a good job, I didn't want them to go back and do it again. So you'll see some interviews here.
What was your favorite part about the rocket launch? I think it was the aircraft. Nice. What was your favorite part about building the rocket?
I like doing the parachute side
Why did you want to join Rocket Club?
because I really wanted to watch of my own rocket like my sister did.
Nice.
He's the littlest kid
Nice.
on the fifth and sixth grade football team. The guy who's in there, Noah.
Favorite part about the rocket launch? I liked how they went high and the parachutes came out fast.
Well, why did you want to join Rocket Club?
I wanted to join because I like the science and how they were built.
What was your favorite part about building the rocket?
Probably seeing how they do it when they're older and to know how to do it with my friends.
What was your favorite part about the rocket launch?
Probably building it.
Why did you decide to join Rocket Club?
Because after I watched you do it in fourth grade, it looked exciting, like pressing all the buttons, learning how to build it, so I thought I'd join.
What was your favorite part about building it?
These are two brothers, so that's why we thought it was cool, because he got to see his older brother do it, and that's what excited him to decide to join the Rocket Club.
And the other younger brother's in first grade. He's excited to join. He was asking me about it this morning. Like, 2 more years, buddy.
Rashika, what was your favorite part about Rocket Club? It was probably making the rocks. How did you like making the rocket? I like the design.
Did you like the launching part?
Yeah.
Why did you decide to join Rocket Club?
Because I wanted to see like how my rocket works.
Nice.
Educational impact. We foster curiosity, confidence in STEM learning. The fun thing about the program is all the kids can participate. Strengthen socialization between grades 3 through 5 students. Launching rockets gives a tangible sense of accomplishment, accomplishment and pride. Builds confidence and lasting excitement for learning. The best part is when it actually launches, because like I built this and it's taken off. So that's kind of exciting. Zeppelin hobbies. We can't say enough about these guys. We've been able to keep the price down. Sometimes the rockets get a little bit more difficult to find when you're looking for, that's one of the problems we've had with the club growing. You have to find 40 rockets that are the same. And that's not easy to do because they get discontinued. Zeppelin Hobbies has been wonderful. They give us a discount. Any questions, concerns, they're there for us. They help us in any way they can. As you can see, we went there, we took a picture. We partnered with them. They were under new ownership. That's how long I've been doing this. Someone else bought Zeppelin Hobbies, and now I work with them. It's a father and son, but they're very nice people, and the reason I want to bring them up is because of the discounts they do offer us. They're not just giving us at value. They're giving us, I think, 15% off. We do quite well there.
So thank you guys for having us. Thank you, Dr. Raj, for letting us do the Rocket Club, letting the students enjoy it, allowing us to have the freedom to run a club like this. Thank you guys for your time, and we hope you have a good rest of your evening.
We can get these.
4, 3, 2, 1.
We saw that one. It made thunder.
So that's a third grade rocket. I don't know why. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Same one.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming and presenting, and I guess keeping 100 kids at home. So that's, but it's really exciting. Like you said, you're reaching these students in a different way, especially with this STEM skills and bringing this excitement to that. So it's just wonderful to see, especially all these years. So great achievement. Congratulations.
Can I just say, as the proud parent of 2 daughters who, too many years ago than I want to think, went through Rocket Club with Mr. D, and I still have pictures and video, and it's still a very highlight memory of their time at Cedar Hill. Thank you for keeping it going, and thank you guys for what you do, because it really was very special back then and still special now. So
Please don't tell me how old they are.
you don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Well, yeah, and thank you very much as well. You know. Okay, you have more reports.
All right, so we're just celebrating the next week will be the end of the first quarter. It's gone extremely quickly, so it's just amazing, you know, how fast the year starts to go. Tomorrow is the trunk or treat for the town. That got moved because of the weather, so we'll be out there handing out with a number of the students that'll be volunteering after school tomorrow at 4:30. We'll be up there by the pavilion with the town. Cell phone surveys went out to all the parents, and the students sat last week at the high school and did them in an extended homeroom. And the parents, I think, have another week or so to fill that out. And that's for parents for all the different school levels. The security vestibules that are being built at several of the schools is almost completed. The glass is finally coming in, so that is being installed. So we're hoping to have that done in the next couple of weeks. And then we'll have every school with a security vestibule. William Mason Playground has started. They started excavating that. They ran into a slight problem, which is what we knew was happening. There's literally almost a river flowing underneath all of that. So the ground is extremely wet, and that's what's caused all the little, call it, for lack of a better term, a sinkhole there. And that's what was starting to have the playground area up by the blacktop that was starting to cave in a little bit. And that's what we're fixing, and we'll have proper drainage. And we did the field testing for the state. The state now changed the tests. We're doing the field tests right now at the elementaries and the middle school. And then I think in 2 weeks, we'll be doing the high school. So that field test is out there. That information will be gathered. And then the test will be real in the spring for the next couple of years. This is the new company that the state partnered with. And the last thing I just want to talk about is the multilingual learners in our district. 2 years ago, in 23-24 school year, we had 33 total multilingual students. These are students coming from different countries that are coming into our school system. And this year, we currently have 114. That's an increase of 81 students and 245%. So it just shows you that the demographics of our town are changing and changing very quickly. The languages that are being spoke, the highest numbers right now are Spanish, Turkish, Korean, Chinese, and Arabic. And there's many more. We have over 30-something languages being spoken in our homes right now. And that's why another reason we switched to the new website has multilingual capabilities on that, so parents can click those on, and then they can get the messages in their languages they feel most comfortable with. Just in general, New Jersey multilingual learners make up about 9% of the population, and here at Montville, it's 3% of the population. We have 114 students that are, 114 students that are currently identified. I might have misspoke earlier, 114. And 150 current Montville students have exited the program. And they're doing it very successfully well in all the different classes they're taking. So think about that. 150 have graduated out of the program. Typically, the program is about 2 years, maybe 3 years for certain students. And once they pass the different benchmarks, they're able to exit out of the program. And then, as we see each year, we've presented to you that 101 students have been found eligible for the New Jersey State of Biliteracy exam. And 16 of those students were former multilingual learners. So it just shows you the impact that we're making and that they're making on us. So it's just wonderful seeing these students. You see the cultural changes that are going on around the schools, but it's just good to get some numbers behind some of the things that you're seeing. Any questions on anything? I'm going to tell a joke or something. It's all right.
Where's Charlie?
No, I spoke to him this week.
All right, so Katina and I are going to be speaking tonight. I think I'm going to do the beginning of this, and then she'll jump in and save me whenever I mess up. But what we're going to be talking about tonight is the capital improvements and the future enrollment of the district. And we started this discussion last year, and I think we presented it maybe twice on this topic, and we're going to continue to do this at least quarterly, if not more, over the next year and then going forward. But we just wanted to give you an idea of the state of the district on a lot of these topics so we can start talking about it. I'm going to start off with the enrollment of the district and let you know where we sit as of October 15th of this school year. So it might be a little harder for people, but this will also be on the website. We'll post this, and we'll also send this out to the community. But right now, it just shows you the capacity of our buildings and then the enrollment figures of our students. Right now, we have 3,481 students that are currently enrolled. Our capacity is 3,355, which puts us at 126 students over capacity. The number of students that you see at Cedar Hill and William Mason, those numbers, I have them highlighted right there, and that's because the developers have not developed those housing units yet. So Cedar Hill does have, it's called now Doremus Town, and those will most likely, we think, are going to be online come January, and that's most likely going to hit Cedar Hill the most. And then at William Mason, that's the area by Harrigan's, and that's going to be going on. They were supposed to have broken down ground already. They haven't, and that may be happening another year from now, so maybe even 2 years, but that's why I have it in red. Just looking at, this is the chart that we've been using for the past couple of years. So in the green on the left-hand side, you'll see that we have Madera and Avalon. Those two are completed, and people have moved in. And I'm just going to jump down to the bottoms, but you'll see at Madera we have 80 out of 103 predicted students with our demographers report, and then we have at Avalon 87 out of the 111. You'll see that Woodmont was the most heavily hit, and that was predicted, and you can see where they're rolling out. So that the only thing that we do not know are they at 100% capacity, or do they still have room for more people to be moving in? So, but that's where we're at right now. As I said about Town, we're expecting 39 students. That should start in January-ish. And then Sterling, which is the old Harrington, or current Harringtons, and we're expecting 58 students coming out of there. The other thing, the next column, you look at there, the growth increase. That's what's predicted with new housing being developed on some empty lots that are being purchased. And then on top of that, also the birthing rates and the number of people that are moving out and moving in. So a family might move away, and a family of 5 might move in, and so that's the growth increase. Again, the enrollment projections based on the demographer, and then the overcapacity projections that we're expecting at the end of next year. So just to give you an idea of statistical forecasting, Dr. Grip came to us. He spoke to us twice several years ago. He predicted that 214 students would be coming out of the Madera and Avalon Bay. 167 are coming out of there as of right now, and that's about 78% of what his prediction was. The developers were predicting a much lower number. They predicted 106. So right now we're at 157% of their predictions. So obviously the truth is lying somewhere in the middle right there. So to be fair to the demographer, if you look at the totals of where we are right now and you take out the Town as well as the Sterling numbers, then that means we have 3,481 actual students, 3,599 that were predicted. We're 126 students over capacity, and this puts him in his margin of error, which is about 3%, 3.3%. And he said his margin of error would be within 5%. And he still has another year to go with the other things, and so we'll see where he lands at the end of next year. So moving forward, what we've done was, as we promised, we took the classrooms that were in the hallways, we took them out of there, and we made whatever space we could, or made adjustments, or built small group instruction. We consolidated the pre-K at Valley View. We moved around some special ed classes to other schools as well. We made small group instruction as needed. We made additional, education programs district-wide, depending. We consolidated. We did the best we could over the past 2 years, and that's worked out well. And then we've increased our class sizes as necessary. On average, you've seen 2 students increase at both the K3 and then the 4-5 levels. So, so they are moving up. So I'm just going to pause there for right now if anybody has any questions about the enrollment figures.
Is there any ways we can know the capacity? Oh, I'm sorry. Can we find out if they're at 100%? Or
No, there's no way. No,
is it worth it?
The town doesn't know those numbers either, and we've talked about that numerous times. It's up to the places to give us those, and they don't want to do that because they're trying to, move apartments as well. So it's a guessing game. We know they were over 60-something, 70% the last time we had a real actual figure. I just don't know how close they are to 100.
Can we figure out from a realtor, how many are on the market, something like that?
I could try. I've been told no along the way, but I could go back to the town and see what they can maybe figure out. But I wouldn't get your hopes up.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the numbers. Like this page that has 25, 26 current enrollment and current projection enrollment. I guess you need to go back like a page. I'm just, for example, at the high school, for 25, 26 enrollment as 988. Then you go underneath that, it says growth increase from 24 to 28 is down 190. And for 27, 28 enrollment projection is 990. So how does the growth increase go down 190 and the enrollment go up 2?
So you talk for the high school?
Yes.
So just say it one more time?
Okay. In the top chart for Montville High School, it says enrollment 988.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if you go down one, the next, where it says current and projection enrollment, next slide down, I guess. It has growth increase at negative 190, with the enrollment projection of 990. So I'm saying, so how does a growth increase go down 190 and the enrollment go up 2?
Wasn't that over 4 years? Yeah.
Yeah, so, right, so this is still projecting out into 27, 28. So they still have another year or two to really get to those numbers.
It's just a projection, Mike.
But they're 980, I don't understand, they're 988 now, and they're 990 is projected in 3 years. How's that result in a growth increase of 190 negative?
Because the 190 is comparing where they were 3 years ago to where they're going to be a year from now. You're not looking at an annual change, you're looking at a change over multiple years.
Right.
And in terms of growth, there's a 2 student growth between the 25-26 enrollment number and the 27-28 enrollment number. But that 190 is a span over multiple
Over 5
years.
years, right.
And that's exactly what we've seen. We've seen smaller classes coming into the high school, and we've been graduating larger classes.
Anybody else? Okay. So we're going to get into now the capital improvements, the financial system of the district, and again, this will be an ongoing discussion of what's going on for our whole district. So the left-hand column for these bubbles for the next couple of slides, you'll see these are the projects that are underway currently or have been completed over the past, say, 4, maybe even 5 years. So just quickly, at the high school, we did roof replacement, electrical upgrades, security vestibules, fire alarm systems, replacing boilers, and that came to $8.9 million of work over those couple of years. We just didn't update that bubble. Okay. So the projects that we have planned right now are that we have them planned, we have them scoped out, but the board has not approved them yet, and we have to find funding sources for this. And we broke that into 2 different categories. The reserve, that, or money that can be taken out of reserves, $670,000 at the high school level, that could replace the HVACs in the 100 wing at the high school, the cafeteria, the security hallway, different upgrades we were talking about. If you go down to the bottom of that, you have estimated $6.8 million of renovations that could be possible in the future. That could be a renovation to the cafeteria, replacing the upper turf field, renovations of the auditorium, and so forth. On the right-hand side, we call them unscheduled because they're ideas that we've talked about with the referendum and other things, but we just have them unscheduled because there's no plan in place. But that comes to about $10 million. And that could be, again, installation of turf on the softball field, update the driveway system, and construction of a field house. And these are all just, this is everybody's wish list, so we're putting it all out there so everybody knows what's going on. For Lazar, same thing. You have the first column in the bubble. This is what all the different projects. This total came to $4.5 million, and that's with the HVAC of the 6th grade wing, the boiler replacement, lighting, and so on. The middle column shows you the money that we could take out of reserves at $4.2 million over a number of years. That would finish the projects of the HVAC at the 7th grade and 8th grade wings, an alarm system, security again. And then you also have the possibility of alternative financing, which we'll get into a little bit later, but renovating the cafeteria, improving the safety of and the field spaces there. That would be $5 million. And again, unscheduled, talking about turfing some green space, constructing an auditorium, a generator hookup, that would be $9.3 million. We call them the sister schools, Cedar Hill, William Mason, and Woodmont, projects that we've completed or that are underway, $11.9 million in that first column. And that is, the roofs, the vestibules, playgrounds, canopy, all things you're seeing that we're all very proud of. Projects that are planned are $2.5 million, talking about security, bathrooms, fire alarm systems, and then at the bottom there, $12 million in other ideas of HVAC and window replacements, just for those 3 schools alone. And then again, looking at the right-hand side, if we talked about a cafeteria, adding 2 of them, adding different classrooms, 15 of them for those schools, that would be an estimated $45 million worth of projects. The other two elementary schools, Hilldale and Valley View, they completed $6.4 million worth of revenues, projects on the left-hand side, seam coating, HVAC, landscaping, hallways with the lighting, et cetera. In the middle column, you have 400,000. Oops, I didn't update it, sorry. You have 400,000 of the projects planned. That's the repairing of the bathroom floors, upgrading the fire alarm systems, hallways, and again, down at the bottom, HVAC and window replacements at 6.5. The unscheduled column right there, again, that's the classrooms that would be needed for the enrollment issues, maybe adding in a cafeteria, installing a generator. That would come out to $16 million.
Tom,
Yes.
the unscheduled for the high school, or for Lazar rather, the constructed auditorium would be a new building, yes?
Yes and no. There would have to be some kind of addition. There was some talk. We didn't go that far down the road, but you could play with the existing gym a little bit, maybe make it a little bit bigger and expand out maybe some of the locker rooms. Not necessarily a whole new building, but there could be some add-ons that they could play around with.
Thank you.
So the impact on reserves. So we've been very creative. Katina and the business department have done an incredible job about keeping us, moving forward these past 10 years. But it's being used a lot. You see it in the newspapers. You see what's happening with a lot of the different districts. There is, there's a fiscal cliff that's coming to all districts. You cannot maintain 2% taxes and everything else is going up 8%. Busing is going up 25, 30%. Insurance goes up 25%. These numbers just do not work. So we have to start thinking ahead and planning prudently. So if you looked at just some of these projects that I already mentioned, you come up to about, say, $8 to $10 million there in the money that we could use in reserves. So if you wanted to just do those projects, you could do that out of our reserve money for those $8 to $10 million, and that'll get us over the next 5 years, and we could still maintain a very healthy reserves of $8.8 million. That's because we'd be spending, and then we put a little bit back when we have money at the end of the school year that, not everything was expended the way we had predicted. You put it back in, you get some more capital projects being done. That $8.8 million is roughly where you want to stay so that it does not impact our bond ratings. If you go below that number, we don't know what that magic number is, but if you go significantly lower, it will impact, what you could get for your future interest rates, and that could negatively impact the district. The alternative financing that we're talking about is, for the maintenance projects, that comes out to $30 million. So this is the other projects that we were talking about. And the expansion projects, again, the kind of the referendum type items that we mentioned, that's another $80 million. So you have about a $10 million projects, maybe reserves we could do, another $30 million that we have to address, and then you also have these expansion projects at another $80 million. That would address all the projects that we know that are currently on the slate right now. So we have to talk about that, and we'll get into a little bit more about what alternative financing is. There's just different ways you could do it. You could do it through our capital reserves up to a certain point. You could do it through a bond referendum, or you could do it through combinations of different things. And there's some laws and rules that changed over the past year that the governor put into effect that we could also maybe take advantage of. So these are the things we're going to have to start talking about a little bit more in depth as we move along. So, different potential revenue streams. We could increase MEDLIC opportunities to enrich our students a little bit more, accept tuition-paying students. We could charge a club and athletic participation fees for different levels. We could create an alumni association for gift giving, build more rentable spaces in different areas and things like that. And we can even maybe work with the town on that, and maybe implement some more subscription busing charges and move forward in that way. All these things we could do combinations of, and these would definitely help our bottom lines, but all these together would not get us to the millions and millions of dollars that we have to do to address a lot of the district's needs. So just the last next steps. Oh, yep, go ahead.
Can you just clarify about the fiscal cliff? Because you just said that the capital improvements, that if we do the small version, it's good for 5 years. But then you mentioned about the fiscal cliff. Fiscal cliff, does that apply to the capital improvements or to the day-to-day operations of the schools?
The fiscal cliff is for the day-to-day operations, but we try to do a lot of our capital improvements through our maintenance reserves. So it's kind of intertwined together a little bit, but the fiscal cliff primarily is for your actual budget, correct?
Okay.
Did you want to jump on? Yeah.
Well, just that, the way that, if you go back to that reserve script,
This one?
if you do this math, there has to be an addition coming somehow in order for me to do, $10 million worth of projects and only drop my reserve balance by 2 million. Something must be infusing. And the infusion is us working really hard every fiscal year to save as much money as possible so that we can then put more money into the reserves so that we can do the next year's projects. So the variance that's being added into the reserves is coming out of the operating budget. But as the operating budget gets harder and harder to manage, because I can only raise revenues up 2%, but everything else is going up higher, I have less and less I can squeeze out to put towards the reserve. So they're linked together due to the fact that that's how that number gets to keep building, as I keep saving, essentially.
And the last slide right here is just talking about the next steps. We've done as much as we can with all the resources we have available to us. So we've done a lot of one-offs. So that, for example, we purchased 4 smaller buses. That's saving us $250,000 a year. We've gone out and redone our insurance with the union and the district, and that saved us quite a bit of money as well. But you can only keep on going back to these, these ideas one at a time. You don't keep on, there's not too many more ideas to come up to save a significant amount of money. So that's why we're here, and this is why we're talking about this stuff proactively. So we can't rely solely on our reserves for our capital reserves, for all our capital projects. So either we have to stop the repairs, only do a few of them, we have to then make priorities and decide where we're going. But eventually, a lot of these buildings, they need to be fixed in the upcoming years, and then we're going to have to figure out something of how to address that in the future. Or we have to try to seek some other kind of financing options. All right. I'm going to open it up for questions and for discussion.
Yeah, one, projects planned for high school says possible alternative financing renovation of auditorium. I thought that was approved in the referendum, and they already had a projected date of like 2029 for this. No.
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 No. There was nothing done for the auditorium in 2017. We've been talking about the auditorium for quite some time, and it's come up in different conversations that we've had, but we've never been able to do the work because it's such an expensive project.
First of all, I want to thank the administration and especially Katine and the Business Administrator's Office for keeping us where we are today. I think we've all heard about what many other districts are facing, and I think actually where we are today is pretty remarkable given the circumstances of dealing with the 2% cap and going to it for all these years. I appreciate, as a board member and also just as a member of the community, you giving us this information now, because clearly you've been able to do all of these great things by managing things as well as you have. But I just want to say I hear you that it's not going to be able to continue what we're used to as a community, as a school, as a board, as a community is really, I think, the word. And so those choices are going to have to be made. So I think it's important for you to keep doing what you're doing, and at the points where we have to make those tough choices, to communicate it well to us and to the whole community so we can understand what impacts it has on future budgets. We've never gone past the 2% cap, since is that something, where does that have to come to be discussed? At what point, to know ahead of time if that's a discussion. And then we know recently we went for a referendum, but what you're talking about, that there's potential other funding sources, exploring all of that, and I have every faith that you will. So I don't think right now there's any answers. I don't hear that you're saying this is what we want or there's next steps, but this communication at all levels is very important, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, there's a lot of unknowns, and that's why we're presenting what we do know right now. So one of the unknowns is you don't know who's going to be the next governor. You don't know if the funding formula changes. You don't know if there's other money that's going to be coming from the state. We just don't know a lot of these things. So that's one source. But the things that we do know is we do have to address this based on the current reality. So we're going to have to talk about, do we go over 2% in the future and have the community vote on it? Do we go for a referendum for just maybe the facilities that we talked about for, say, 30 million? Do you do it for also the enrollment projects? Do you do it with these alternative funding sources? There's so many what ifs we don't know yet, and we're going to be exploring them over the next year. But we're going to have a lot of public discussions about this to make sure that we don't get, caught off guard.
In our finance and facilities, you highlighted, the Condorso's purchase of the town, and if we could be, rent, purchase, be given some of that space in the back Lazar to build an ice hockey rink, a pool, some courts. We can rent these courts out. I think that's a win-win for the town, for us, for the public. And whether we package it in a referendum to pay for interest expenses or just to do it as it's standalone, I think is something we should get moving on.
Yeah, I mean, not to scare anybody, but I do believe in moonshot thinking. We got to throw these things out there, and then we got to pare down to what is going to be acceptable for the community. But if you don't start really big and then figure out how we're going to solve a lot of these problems, I'd rather start big and then come down as opposed to start small and get smaller. But you're right.
I'm not. Oh, sorry. I'll talk like this. I'm not sure, since it's the township committee's responsibility to pick what they're going to do with that property. I don't think as a Board of Education we should tell them, give suggestions. I mean, the community we can, but we already have basketball courts. We already have hard surfaces, and that land was bought to preserve open space. So I don't personally see a swimming pool. Other towns that have swimming pools, they've closed, they had to open. It's a lot of liability. I think it would be a wonderful place to have events for the community, gardens, just what the town wanted it for in the community. So I just don't want to make any comments for that.
You're absolutely. I don't think you were saying but we could do some of these things on our surfaces depending on what we want to do, and work with the town on a lot of these ideas to try to help serve the town as well as them helping to serve us. So these are discussions we would have to have with the town, and also see what's acceptable with our, we have to also look at it, remember, anytime, like you just said, if we have green space somewhere and we hard surface that or something like that, we have to see what the impact on the environment is. So there's a lot of research, but you got to start now with a lot of these ideas.
One of the things that I've been trying to do over the past couple of years is try to get some kind of dialogue with the township committee. So we generally meet a couple times a year with the township committee just to talk over different ideas, different concerns, and obviously this board, I strongly urge this board to continue working with the township committee, try to find solutions to our common problems, because they're also having challenges over there with their budget. So we are thoroughly committed to working with the town to solve these common problems. Yeah. So, any other questions?
I just wanted to say, I think obviously ultimately we're going to come to a year where we need to do another referendum, and I appreciate the transparency, and I think that it's so important to keep putting out what the goals are and what the projected projects are, because I really think the public and the community needs to see exactly what this money would be used for. I think in the last referendum there was a lot of like people feeling like they didn't get enough information about what could be done if the referendum passed. So by continuing to put out these charts frequently showing what we would like to do in the district, hopefully would help, push a referendum forward so that, it can alleviate some of these monetary struggles.
It's a good point. So that's why we did that first bubble column. So it's been, just say, roughly 4, 5, 7 years. That was $25 million worth of projects we've done. So now we're looking at another $25, $30 million worth of projects to keep the facilities going the way we know them, which has nothing to do with the enrollment issues, correct?
And let's move on. Okay, any business administrators report tonight? No, that was it. Okay. Okay, let's get on to liaisons. Karen, facilities and finance.
Everything that Katine said.
That was your shortest one yet. Okay, Michelle.
No report.
Okay, John, policy.
Noisemaker policy and not cell phone, our virtual meeting policy will be discussed later.
Okay.
No meeting since the last meeting.
Okay. Communications, Joe?
No meeting.
Christine, safety?
We're setting up a meeting time.
Any idea yet?
No.
Okay. Hadn't heard about that one yet. Okay. Great. Liaison, New Jersey School Boards, Karen.
So as you all know, New Jersey School Boards hosted their annual convention called Workshop, and it was wonderful. We had more vendors this year. The floor was packed. There were some fun and games, some carnival activities, lots of speakers. Joe Theismann spoke. There was an Israeli woman who played the violin and married it with rap, and it was amazing. Her name was Miri Ben-Ari, and it was inspiring. Would love to get her here. And we were able to get together and have dinner with Joe and John and Tom and Katine and Steve and Rich, and that was, we had a fun time. It's nice to let your hair down and just commiserate socially once in a while. So next year, there's always an invitation for the board to come. The fee covers 25 staff members, so some food for thought for next year.
Okay. Mike, Rappaport, Morris County School Boards?
Yes, the Morris County School Boards met in the beginning of October at the Boonton High School. There were about 67 people in person, another 26 were virtual attendees. Near the beginning of the meeting, our very own Karen Corlino got up and spoke about the Educational Leadership Foundation of New Jersey. I learned about that. ELF is the fundraising arm of the NJSBA. The funds are for training, research, for school board support, and for general school programs. And ELF is primarily funded through contributions. Also, we met Dr. Paul Pinero. He's our new field rep, replacing Charlene Peterson. He was only on the job for 4 days when we met him, so he's pretty new, but we had dinner with him, and he spoke to the Montville reps at the meeting, so it was very nice to meet him. The main presentation that they gave was on budgets to brilliance. And they spoke about how building a budget requires planning, what will be needed in the future for classrooms, teachers, new equipment, fields, etc. I'm sure Katine knows all about this. Since every dollar spent reflects the learning priority, the effectiveness of spending can drive the outcomes. And they also talked about how the money is used, how the money is used is just as important as how much money is spent. And the presentation focused on authentic engagement, such as small classrooms, teacher retention, and student success outcomes. In the Q&A section, quickly diverged from budgets to brilliance because a lot of the towns stated they were also suffering from a lot of new housing units going up in their respective towns and the resulting influx of students. So it's not just in Montville. It's all of Morris County and all the towns. They all came. All the board members complained about the same thing. Some of them had 200 units. Some had 1,000 units. They all different numbers of units, but they all were struggling with how to manage the schools with this sudden influx of students in the schools in a very short amount of time. And finally, if anyone is interested, the MCSBA is looking for committee members for the legislative committee. They are focusing on HIB, special education, and school funding items this year. And another point, the MSBA's meeting on February 4th is going to focus on cell phones in the classroom. So I think that will dovetail nicely with the end of our surveys in town, and we can get a county-wide perspective on cell phones at that meeting.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Okay, Joe, Morris County Educational Services.
We met on October 8th. Discussion was about the renovations of the 5 Jean Street school property, which will house the central office and also the operations for the school. The next meeting will be on November 12th.
And drug awareness?
They are participating tomorrow in the trunk or treat.
Okay.
Yep.
That's good. John, boosters?
No meetings till last.
No meetings yet. Okay, back to Karen, Cedar Hill Liaison?
No report.
Okay. Christine, Hilldale?
Yes, so Hilldale had their meeting on the 16th. They were very busy over the summer, getting ready for the school year. They hosted a back to breakfast for all the teachers. They had their school supply fundraiser, and all supply kits were delivered to the classroom by the PTC prior to the day of school. They're also having an ongoing fundraiser with sports clips in Lincoln Park. So if any of us go, we mention Huskies, the school will get 30% of the profit of their visit. Their lunches, they're experimenting with a lot of new entrees. They're always taking reviews from parents. They're starting to offer snacks. They're working great with Chartwell's Canteen. And they have breakfast options every day, which is great for the kids. They have a lot going on. I'm just really blown away by these parents. It's like a mini corporation, you know, how organized they are. They're going to have their Diwali celebration on, was the 24th at 9 a.m. And they just doing a lot of fundraisers. They're doing their Hilldale Harvest Fest this year. Actually, it just passed, but they had lawn games, free cider and popcorn for everyone, just really giving the kids wonderful experiences and memories. They're also hosting World Kindness Day on November 13th, and they'll be hosting the volunteer night again for Hearts of Hope.
Okay, thank you. Just, Katine, real quick question related to that. Breakfast? So is this offered at other schools or?
So the PTAs, when they work with Chartwell's, they are able to create the menu. And one of the feedbacks that we got from the elementary schools was that they really missed the option that the kids for lunch could have a breakfast meal, and that was something that the kids really enjoyed. So these are things like French toast sticks, egg sandwiches, that kind of thing, that is an offering on certain days as your lunch choice. That's different than the breakfast option that is offered at the high school, where you can come in early and eat breakfast.
Yeah, I just didn't know if our elementary schools were opening up early to have breakfast.
No.
Yeah.
This is offered at lunchtime.
Okay, thank you. Caitlin, Valley View.
Valley View had a virtual meeting on October 16th. They had their first assembly of the year, which was an anti-bullying assembly. Scholastic applauded them for having sold 1,000 books at the book fair this year. They donated over 100 boxes of cereal to the food pantry, and then separately, 5th grade donated milk to the food pantry. They have a new picnic area set up with new round and rectangle picnic tables outside the playground. And they have kicked off their Thanksgiving food drive with Mr. Larkin and Mrs. Ferranda that they do each year.
Great, thank you. Okay, William Mason, John?
We did not meet, but I did talk to some parents since the last meeting, and there was a request if part of the project that's going on there, the construction could be, there's a retaining wall right by the platform where you walk into the building to sharp down. If that could either get power washed or match the gray paint that's on the rest of the building. I don't know if that's part of the project and was just a finishing touch or.
That probably won't get done until the spring because we're looking into the possibility of tying the face of that particular big slab into the landscaping that we're doing. So one of the things that's going to be at the very end of the project is going to be replacing the railroad ties with a stone-based product. So what we would do is tie those two things together. We haven't fully vetted out that covering, but it probably will be something better than power washing and better than paint, but we just haven't gotten there yet.
Great to hear. Thank you.
And just on that note, you're going to see around many of the schools new trees and shrubbery going in. So this is the time to plant. We've talked about that before. At the very least, you're going to see a lot more red maples going in. So we're going to try to start, now that we're done with a lot of construction, start putting in a lot of the beautification to finish off a lot of the schools.
Wonderful. Okay, Mike Palmer?
Yeah, PTA Woodmont met on October 9th, discussed a couple things, including the new playground purchase. There are some updates on fundraisers. There's a recognition for Woodmont having been #1 in the county on the New Jersey School Report Card. There was an inquiry about enrollment, and we were told 366 going up, and I just saw today it said 371, so I guess it is still going up. There was a discussion about a fundraiser which actually came and went on October 17th. It was a dine and donate at Tony Boy's for a staff member with an illness. And we discussed the rollout of the new field tests for the standardized tests next year.
Okay, thank you. Michelle Lazar?
Well, Joe and I both attended. I don't know, do you want to give you? Yeah,
Okay.
So the principals and vice principals gave reports about the NJSLA testing, the upcoming plans for Halloween, student council update, and the back to school breakfasts and items that they've done. They talked about something that's nice at Lazar is they have the staff wish list where staff can put items that they wish for, and this, the PTC fundraises and is able to provide a lot of things for the school. They discussed things like upcoming book fairs and assemblies, but a big thing was living lessons. It's held every other year, and this is a year where it's being held. The PTC committed $18,000 towards the program, as they do every year, and the parents, the administration expressed appreciation to both the PTC and all the support they know the board gives as well. And so they've done the fundraising like back to school night parking auction. And apparently they've convinced Mr. Prosciutto to be taped to some type of wall in the upcoming future for another fundraiser. So that the fall play for the Lazar is going to be November 20th and 21st. It's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And of course, we also talked about encouraging the parents to respond to the cell phone survey. I thought an interesting question that came up at the end of the meeting was, taking technology one step further. Parents were inquiring what's going to happen at Lazar, and I guess thinking beyond to the high school about how the administration and the schools will deal with AI. Will there be, future limitations on it, or how will it be used educationally given how it's evolving? So parents are already thinking beyond cell phones, as we all should be. So it was a good meeting, though.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. And Mike, we have a meeting on November...
Yeah, November 3rd is our next
3rd?
meeting.
Okay, wonderful, thanks. Okay, this is the first opportunity for the public to come up to the microphone and tell us your comments about anything on the agenda. If you would like to come up, seeing none, ask for a consent resolution on items I through M.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, questions on the minutes? What about section J, administration? K is facilities and finance. L, personnel. And M, curriculum. I think the calendar is in the curriculum. That's later, okay. Oh, old bit, okay. Okay, so roll call vote on items I through M. M.
Mr. Palma?
Yes.
Mr. Daughtry?
Yes, abstain on I.
Dr. Cordolino?
Yes.
Mrs. Fano?
Yes, abstain on I.
Mr. Petrosino?
Yes.
Mr. Rappaport?
Abstain, section I, yes to everything else.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Zuckerman?
Yes.
Dr. Modrak?
Yes. Okay, moving on to section N, policy. We're going to go one by one through them because there were questions. So on policy, the first policy, which is 8870, noisemakers. You have a copy of that. Mr. Petrosino, would you like to start us off?
Yes, essentially the policy eliminates noisemakers on any level, indoors and outdoors. The subcommittee met. That's what was the majority had, delivered, and that was the recommendation of the committee. I could say personally, I don't feel that, there should be a ban on noisemakers outdoors. I think it should only be limited to indoor events. But I do think that the noises can be irritating and disruptive indoors. Outdoors, I know we actually sell many, we sell noisemakers to make money, to fundraise for outdoor events. So I think it goes against, just excitement, fun, fundraising, and that's why I'd change it just to be limited to indoor events.
I agree with John. Right after we discussed all of this, the marching band did a cowbell fundraiser, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to ruin their fundraiser. The bells are nice outside. I understand not having the air horns, and I've been at football games where the AD has had to come into the stands and take the air horns from kids who have them in the student sections, and I don't see anything wrong with that. But I do feel like completely saying no to everything in every location is a little bit too extreme, I guess.
Does it make sense to think of sporting events different than, say, an event like graduation? Because right now it's just listing all events together as a blanket. I agree with the indoors, because I think indoors it can be very, and I totally see what you're saying for outdoor sporting events. I'm not quite sure. I know that some of the complaints really have happened more about like a graduation ceremony, because then if one family's doing a really loud noise, then you can't hear the next child's name being announced, and I think that is a problem. So perhaps we don't just lump every event together.
I just want to quickly point out on page 2, which is 2B, it does allow for the superintendent designee to make authorized limited use of approved items. So if you did decide to ban something, and then you said, okay, except for bells or something like that, you could. So you do have some leeway on that if you wanted.
So I think noisemakers are fun. I really do. I've all the graduations I've been to, sporting events, it's fun, even indoors. My son wrestled, and wrestling basketball, the buzzer is loud. That's loud for me. It's just part of it. I understand, since I've been on the board, we just received, I think, that one complaint, and it was indoors. And I understand that. But we didn't get complaints from others. And I would hate to squash something that's been traditional and fun be reactive to it. For air horns, whistles. My mother whistles louder than some whistles. Are we going to go running around, have the teachers run around and say, I'm sorry, you can't whistle? The bells, they're fun. My son graduated, we were passing them around to all the different, the World Club siren, that's fun for soccer. I understand indoors, but everything else I think is just going to be a job for security and for the staff, and I'd like having the superintendent have leeway. But then, what if we have a superintendent that's not so easygoing? Then, so those are just my feelings.
Yeah, in addition to what everyone else has said so far, in C1A, I would delete the words "or possession." So it'd be the use of noisemakers, not use or possession, because somebody walks in with something, you're not going to start frisking people at the door if they're just holding on to something. It just causes more problems, I think, having that word in there. I think it's just the use of extremely loud noisemakers in an indoor event is what we're trying to address.
Okay. Anyone over here? Okay, no.
I believe air horns under any circumstances are more annoying than they're worth. Whistles, bells, I don't know what that, the vuvuzuela, I'm not sure what that is, but.
That's at the World Cup soccer games, those big long horns.
Sirens, amplified sound devices, I don't have an issue with those, but the air horns are really almost dangerous. The decibels are so high. And, for graduation ceremonies, these are very celebratory, but these are also significant milestones in a child and family's life. And I think we demean it when we have air horns going on and, other distractions, even outside. Musical and theatrical performances, do we really want to have, noise going on while there's a theatrical performance? I don't see that. Athletic contests, of course, make all the noise you want, but the air horns are very disturbing.
I'd say I agree very much with Karen. Air horns, I'd probably expand that to sirens. And I think anything, if you reach a certain decibel level, it can be dangerous to somebody's hearing. I agree. Air horns have no place anywhere. That's just a person trying to get attention. I'm sorry. Bells, the cowbells. Oh, look, the cowbells outside, they've been doing that for years. I don't think anyone's going to get offended by a cowbell outside. But, and I don't know if it's possible to have some kind of decibel type thing where.
That's actually what I was sort of thinking, was that one of the issues I have with this is that it's sort of vague. It's like we shouldn't get rid of everything that makes noise, but at a certain level, like an air horn can damage hearing. If you're right in front of it and someone blasts it right behind you, it can hurt your hearing. You can walk away ringing ears. So my biggest concern here is that it's not very specific as to what is a noisemaker as far as the decibel level.
But how do you measure that?
Well, generally.
Yeah, I think measuring the decibels, I don't think we need a measurement for air horns.
No, but see, that's the thing, is air horns are stated to do a certain level. One of those old phone things.
We certainly don't want to go chasing people around, and we don't want to be holding some ear device to the, but I think we all can agree an air horn
It's a disruption.
is, it's annoying.
Yeah.
And I am happy somebody complained, because it was annoying inside the gym for sure. It would be annoying for me outside as well. And I certainly would not want to disrupt graduation or award programs or musical and theatrical performances.
Is it possible to, do a strict, I don't know if this would have to be like, I don't know how you would word it, a strict ban on air horns across the board, but then other noisemakers prohibited for indoor events, and then for outdoor events, there could be guidelines specific to each event. So when graduation comes around, you can say, and these are the rules for graduation. So then it's not a broad policy that covers all outdoor events, and that way athletic events outside and graduation outside can have their own set of guidelines and parameters.
May I get involved in this?
Yes.
Please.
Please do.
So clearly you're not ready to vote on this.
That's, I know, I was going to ask for a motion to.
So
send it back.
what would be typical in this situation would be for the policy committee to take into consideration everything that has been said and anything that anybody would like to submit to the policy committee between now and its next meeting. And then the policy committee should come back with a revision on the policy, taking everything into account. That would not be a new first reading, that would still be a second reading. And it would be an amended policy. But you can't really sit here as a board and rewrite a policy and figure out how many decibels you're gonna have. You just can't do that.
Well, actually, I was going to say, we need a motion to send it back. Do we need a
Well,
motion or not?
before, I just wanted to give
Motion.
everyone a
Motion,
chance
okay.
to.
You're the
did you wanna-
president, send it back.
Okay, then we will go ahead and send it back unless someone
We can
strongly
email
objects.
John individually, Steve, if we have,
Yes.
right.
Email,
Yes.
yeah.
Don't email everybody.
No,
just
don't email everyone.
We have some more discussion on it? I'm just
Yes.
some
Yeah,
thought.
if you wanna add
I
some
mean,
more.
would it be palatable if we approved the policy as is with the provision that the policy does not?
Bad idea.
No.
Yeah.
No,
We're
just
just
hear
going
out.
to send it back.
Okay.
I think
I would suggest that maybe this policy, and we don't have to approve it tonight, but my thought, maybe this policy would be appropriate if we said this does not apply to athletic events, then we could
You
create a
should
different
make
policy
that
for that.
suggestion to John.
I think that's the best thing to do, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so
All right.
unless anyone has a strong objection to it, we will send that one back to policy committee.
Please CC Casey too, so he
Yeah.
gets your suggestions.
Yeah. Okay, the next one is bylaw 0155.1, board member participation in public board meetings using electronic devices. I'd like to start this out by first saying I make a motion to table this bylaw. You know what, I'm sorry, Caitlin, I don't mean to mansplain here, but do you know what tabling is? Yeah, just basically putting it to the side, and unless the board actually brings it back, then we don't discuss it after the vote.
Well, technically, it dies if you don't bring it back at this meeting.
Right?
correct.
At this meeting? Okay, then technically it dies if it,
But it can be reintroduced at
Yeah.
the next meeting.
The proper motion is to postpone it.
actually, I would like to make a motion to table it.
I second.
All right, there's no discussion.
And there's no discussion.
Just
It
a
is a simple vote. No, it's a simple vote. Is it? If it is tabled, there is no further discussion.
And there's no discussion on the motion.
Yeah.
So there's just a vote. Continue.
So I heard a motion to table it
And
And a second.
Christine,
and a second. Okay? So
I'm
then
gonna-
then it's going to be a straight vote.
It's going to be a
And
straight
if,
vote.
if the vote goes 5, then it's dead right now, for now.
Unless somebody wants to bring it back an hour from now.
Yeah,
But if we're still here an hour from now.
we better have pumpkin
shot
pie.
ourselves.
I'll be attending virtually if it's taken an hour.
Karen, does anybody have a question about what we're voting on, Karen?
I'm not sure, what are we trying to achieve?
There's no
No
discussion.
discussion. It's just simply,
You're right, there's no discussion.
I know.
All right, so this is a motion to table
What?
Bylaw.
the bylaw 0155.1.
Yes.
Dr. Modrak,
Yes.
Mrs. Fano,
Yes.
Dr. Cordolino,
No, I do not want to table it.
Mr. Palma,
No.
Mr. Petrosino,
Yes.
Mr. Rappaport,
Yes.
Mrs. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Zuckerman,
I don't know why, but sure, yes.
Mr. Daughtry.
Yes.
It's tabled.
Okay, thank you.
So I would like to make a motion to take it off the table.
Is there a second? Hearing none, I'm sorry.
Don't be.
It's okay.
So that means this policy is dead?
Unless it's reintroduced. It is possible, for example, for the policy committee to revise it or rewrite it and bring it back at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Can I?
Or a first reading.
Steve, can I ask, so what we've been operating under that does allow virtual attendance at meetings is still in place? This would have replaced it or identified it.
There's no change to our policies right now.
This is just no change to the
Everything
current.
is as it was last week.
Steve, what is the current, and apologies for the current notice requirement for a virtual? I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
What do you mean by notice? You mean for us?
Is there a requirement for a board member to give it like 2 days advance notice, or is it just?
I'm almost, Steve, do you know off the top? I'm almost positive there is no notification.
That's what I
There is no
thought.
specific notice. Here's what the rules are. And these are the rules that apply generally in New Jersey. Adequate notice. 3 days, 4 days, whatever is adequate. Sometimes it's only 1 day because it's an emergency. Sometimes it's a week because but it needs to be sufficient for the board to accomplish the following technologically. The person who is participating remotely has to be able to hear everybody, and everybody has to be able to hear the person who's participating remotely. Those are the two key issues. And you cannot you can't be enclosed, and the reason for that is because it's not secure, and you can't just come in for one item and vote and leave. If you're going to participate remotely, you have to participate for the full meeting. Those are the rules.
And we do have technical, setup to do. So it's, an hour or two notice is not the best.
Well, that's the point I was trying to drive at is I don't think a hard deadline for a notice should eliminate someone's attendance at a meeting. I think that the respect of each other, to give notice in advance should be good enough. But in the event that you have to give day of notice because something happens that out of your control, you shouldn't eliminate you from a meeting.
Yeah, why don't we discuss it at the next policy meeting? If you would like to, we can do that.
Just wanted to get that out.
Okay. Okay, so then moving on to section Q, the district calendar. We had a request from the MTA to reconsider our calendar and move the half-day next year from September 4th to September 18th. So does anyone have any comments about that? I think this is something we should keep in mind for the subsequent year. I'm not necessarily inclined to change what we voted on already.
Question. Was there a specific reason given for the request?
They just wanted it that way. They preferred it that way.
It goes back to the traditional way. The 18th or thereabouts is what we normally have it as, and the union has expressed to their leadership they prefer having that after the back-to-school days as opposed to front-loading it and putting it on September 4th.
But we did meet with the leadership, and they approved the date that we approved.
That's correct.
But not to put a point on it, the original date was the 18th.
That's correct also. So
we changed it to the 4th.
So correct.
Yes?
So the
Correct?
original date.
Wait,
yes,
that was
yes,
correct.
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
So.
But they agreed.
That was never
Okay,
voted on.
but I get that. I know that. But we changed the original date. So I think there needs to be some consideration to that.
So just for the history of this, yes, the original date was the 18th. Historic date, okay. And then it went to a calendar committee, and the calendar committee, based on a lot of the feedback from board members, came back and then suggested the 4th, and that's what the board voted on, and that's what the board approved at, I think it was 2 meetings ago.
Yeah. So then that becomes our original calendar for that school year.
Yes.
Not the historic.
I believe I understand that point.
Okay, so does anyone else have any other points? No one wishes to make any? Okay, we'll move on. We will keep this in mind for the subsequent calendar discussions. We also have here general board comments and new business.
I'm sorry, Dave. So the direction to the superintendent is to tell the association no.
Oh, sorry, yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay, then, can I go on to new business? Thank you very much, sir. Okay, we had an inquiry about having maybe a liaison to the special education, CPAG, I believe, yeah. I'll open it up for discussion. Christine, you want to start?
Sure. I'm going to talk back here so it doesn't echo. So I know that over the years we've always had, as a special education parent, concerns, et cetera, and we're all liaisons to our beautiful schools and township organizations. And this certain group does not have a liaison. I know a parent asked for it, and I do think it would be a good thing just to go to listen, to see the fun things that they're doing, the educational things that they're doing. We don't really get a chance to hear that and see that because most, all the children have their own individual education plan. I think it would, my son went to an out-of-district school, and it was a nonprofit school, and they would have meetings with the families a couple times a year to talk about the programs, how to maybe improve it, new things, and there were always board members there that came, and they just listened. And I think it was helpful also to the administrators, because if they heard something that the parents and the administrators needed, it was good for the board member to hear as well. They didn't really go there to advocate, and that wouldn't be our role. It would just be to listen, because sometimes you hear the same stories, and if Dr. Gorman or the administration needed to fund something, that board member would maybe see the need, whereas we really don't hear anything, because of privacy reasons. So in those, I think it would be helpful. I think it would also make parents feel like someone from the board is hearing them, whether they can communicate. They can't, we couldn't be advocating for them, but just to be listening to them. So I think it would be a wonderful thing, in my opinion.
Caitlin?
I agree with Christine. I think it's a great idea if this is approached as the same liaison role that we all have with the PTA and PTC groups and the other organizations around town. I think it would benefit everybody to also get the updates here about what's going on with that community.
Okay. Anybody over on the side? Comments? Any other comments here? Okay, well, I guess we can vote on, do we vote on having a?
Yeah,
somebody
should make a motion.
That would be nice. Care to make a motion?
I'll make the motion, Dave.
Okay, second. Okay, thank you. Okay, is there any further discussion? No? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Fano?
Yes.
Mr. Daughtry?
Yes.
Dr. Cordolino?
Yes.
Mr. Palma?
Yes.
Mr. Petrosino?
Yes.
Mr. Rappaport?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Zuckerman?
Yes.
Dr. Modrak?
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Okay. Can I ask for any other new business or old business general board comments at this time?
Yeah, I do. So last night at the Lazar PTC meeting, at the end of the meeting, we started discussing AI. The parents were talking about AI and how it was affecting, with the students and doing their projects and such. Morris County School Board is actually doing a panel discussion on December 2nd here at the high school, talking about AI. And AI was a big topic down at workshop last week too. There's a lot of classes and such going on. So we just finalized getting 3 speakers for that night that we're going to have. They're all professionals in that area, so I recommend we all attend on December 2nd.
I would recommend that we all attend anyway, since we are the host school.
Yes.
So, other comments, general board comments, old business, new business? Okay, seeing none, I open it up for the second public participation opportunity. If you have any comments whatsoever about anything on or off the agenda, please come to the podium. Seeing none, I ask for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
So moved.
Second? Thank you. Okay. Does anyone, if anyone is strongly opposed, let me know now. Hearing none. Good night, everyone.
She's still pushing that.